out if you think it's a job, because you are not good enough to be there.
Hello out there in internet land. This is the first episode of 2022 of the F1 Chat. No longer the P&J F1 Chat, just the F1 Chat. I'm your host, Phil Lamington. Seated to my left is a man who, he's still a bit salty about Sochi from last year. JB, how are you, JB, my friend?
New year, same old salty me. I am a man who likes to hold grudges for a long, long time. 2009 Grand Final still gets me, hey.
And returning as a full-time member this year, if he wants to, he's still got to pay the $50 membership fee. A man who he's not quite so salty. He still firmly agrees that Lewis Hamilton's a bit of a fuckhead, but not as big as Nikita Mazepin. Longhorn, how are you, my friend?
I'm awesome. I'm doing great.
Yeah, we'd do a lot better if you paid that $50.
Yeah, your 30-day trial expired like 30 days ago. It doesn't roll over into the new year. Did we tell him that part?
Now your channel is the one that every 2 minutes it sits there and says, "This is an unlicensed product." To buy the proper product, go to ... we need to buy a subscription.com.
He has to enter a new fake email address every week.
Keep creating hot mails.
So before we get into the sort of episode, and we decided to do a bit of a special episode, we're just going to tackle something that's a little bit tricky at the moment. So last week, unfortunately, my father passed away. And he did make a cameo on the show. Unwanted. I'm not crying. I'm just trying to get a cough out. He passed away after a long battle with cancer. So we're going to dedicate this episode to him, which means it'll be an absolute car wreck, and he'll hate it like he hated F1. So, now we got the sad stuff out of the way. He would have gotten a chuckle out of that, by the way. So we got the sad stuff out of the way. We're going to start off with some news items, and then we're going to talk about what we just watched for the last 2 hours. So the first news item that's happened over the last week is that Otmar Szafnauer has left Aston Martin F1.
You called it.
You did call it.
Yeah, well, you didn't really hear much from him after after about April.
Once Lawrence Stroll bought that team out, he very much got bumped to the back.
Well,
Szafnauer was the man when it was Force India.
He and Perez were the two guys that sort of lift the lid on the fact that when it was Force India, that it was financially fucked.
Yeah, because old mate who was running Force India was going bankrupt or some shit.
What was his name? Tony Fernandez?
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Was that his name?
I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Vijay
Mullally. Vijay Mullally.
Oh,
yes.
I thought he was a cricket player.
No, that's Vijay Singh.
Yep. VVS
Virat Kohli.
Maxman.
And Virat Kohli. Go on with that part of the world and having your name start with V.
Oh, fuck.
Pretty popular.
No, there was
Yeah.
that cricket player, VVS Laxman.
Yeah, VVS Laxman.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever know what the VVS stood for?
Oh,
I never found out.
Veritable disease or whatever. Who knows? So, what do you... Well, we'll start with Longhorn. What are your thoughts about Otmar leaving Aston Martin?
I think just what JB said, as soon as Lawrence Stroll bought the team, it definitely felt like he was on the outer in a sense. You could sense there was something going on, whether or not they didn't get along, or Lawrence Stroll in his head had the idea for someone else to come in, but wasn't just going to do it off the bat sort of thing. And I don't know, ever since he took over the team, it sort of felt like he was on the outer.
Yeah.
And you never heard from him. And it just, I don't know, you could see it coming, I guess. And here we are.
How about you, JB? I mean, what do you think Otmar's going to do now?
I think Otmar, he'll find his way into a team, be it Alpine or, I don't know. If he wants to stick around the F1 paddock, I think there's an experienced set of hands there. But the one thing I learned about Lawrence Stroll is when he gets an idea in his head, he's very goal-driven. And I've got a pretty good feeling that Otmar Zafnauer was not part of his goal, was not part of his plan. Be it if Otmar was maybe not agreeing with him to the fullest extent, or Otmar had a different vision than what Lawrence had. But Lawrence is in this team, in this sport to win, which he's already proving. Like, Aston Martin's getting their new facility. They're poaching a bunch of top players from other teams to, like, build a formidable team.
Lawrence Stroll wants a world
Yeah,
championship.
and he'll get it. I
Yeah.
guarantee he will get a championship sooner rather than later.
And I don't think Lawrence Stroll's seen Otmar Zafnauer as the guy to get them there.
Yeah. Otmar never struck me as the guy. Like, Otmar never really came out like he had a clear vision in his head, where Lawrence very much did.
Yeah.
As soon as Lawrence was the big cheese, he knew what he wanted to do. Otmar was a bit wishy-washy, and Lawrence obviously was a lot more direct. And I guess Otmar's not a part of those plans now, but I can see Otmar going to an Alpine or you know, maybe even an Alfa Romeo, maybe like just an overseer, or a Williams. It'd be alright to like see him. Like, I'd like to see him land in one of these up and coming teams to sort of be that guiding hand to help a lower team. But yeah, I think if he wants to stay around in the sport, I could see him maybe landing at Alpine more than anything.
How about you, Longhorn? Where do you see him going?
I can see Alpine. I can definitely see that happening. Maybe even Williams. I'm not really quite sure where he ends up on, but I know there will be a spot somewhere for him.
If he wants it.
Yeah, if he wants it. Whether it's, as JB said, whether it's an overseer sort of position. But yeah, I mean, what's the teams currently not with a principal? Alpine and Williams, is that right?
No, Williams does have a team principal.
A full-time one?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So the only team that really doesn't have a full-time team principal is Alpine.
Alpine, right.
So I see him going to Alpine as well. And also he does have a background in design. So
What was his role at Aston Martin? What was he?
he was team principal.
Yeah, right. So he's probably just another set of hands.
Oh,
Just be like a secondary team principal, or maybe not a race, not a director of racing.
Well, I think,
But every team's structured slightly different.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Otmar was very passive, whereas Lawrence Stroll
He's very outspoken.
he's very aggressive.
Yes.
He is very aggressive.
He gets what he wants, and it's starting to take shape. You can see it.
That's why he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, and this sort of highlights what could be a potential issue for Aston Martin. So they've got Martin Whitmarsh, but he is the head, like he reports directly to Lawrence Stroll.
Yeah.
And at the current arrangement they've got, it would have been Otmar reporting to Martin Whitmarsh. Who
Yeah.
then
Well,
reports-
he's just cut out the middleman.
Yeah. I don't... As much as I think Martin Whitmarsh is the right person for the job, I don't think Martin Whitmarsh is going to get the role. Some people are actually saying that it's another face from Formula One's past that is coming back as the new team principal to replace him.
Who's that?
Eric Boullier. I think that might be a slight step backwards.
Yeah. No, I think Whitmarsh
think-
is the guy.
I think Boullier had a very much a similar mindset to Otmar Zafnauer, where it's very passive,
Yeah.
which goes against Lawrence Stroll and his aggression.
Yeah. Let's not forget when Eric Boullier was head of McLaren, that team like nosedived.
Yeah, but here's the
Pretty
thing:
bad.
when Eric Boullier was in charge, he still had Ron Dennis sort of in his ear a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be the same thing if it's Eric Boullier. It's going to be the same situation.
But Eric Boullier is showing his hand. Like when he was at Lotus, he was great.
Yeah.
Like him and that whole team operated greatly. But I think Whitmarsh is the guy. I think you got to play with what you've got.
Yeah.
You know, play the guard you've been dealt. Martin Whitmarsh is a great number 2.
And the thing is, Martin Whitmarsh, in in terms of a chessboard, he is an experienced player on that chessboard.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
an experienced chess piece. He has worked under Ron Dennis.
Yeah, it was him and Ron Dennis that oversaw McLaren's resurgence.
Yeah.
Like that whole late 90s, early 2000s period, that was Ron Dennis and Martin Whitmarsh in tandem.
Yeah.
Like, he knows what he's doing, and Lawrence should definitely, play the cards he's dealt and have him as a number 2 because, yeah, he's been around the traps.
Yeah, I can see Whitmarsh being the option. Like, if you go from Zafnow to Eric Billier, I feel like that's sort of a sideways move. I
Yeah,
don't feel like
yeah.
you're getting any difference.
You
Which, if you're
almost-
getting rid of Zafnow, you're clearly wanting to go in a different... Like, you want someone, as we've said, like, maybe more aggressive or a bit different to him. And I think Whitmarsh can be that, but I don't see...
Yeah, I think that by replacing Otmar with Boulier, you're just replacing one pawn with another pawn.
yeah.
Whereas if you go with Martin Whitmarsh, you're replacing a pawn with a castle or a bishop.
Yeah.
Yep.
In terms of chess pieces.
Yeah, he's a step up, definitely.
Yeah.
And he's way more experienced.
Way more experience.
Like, Zafnower is around for a bit, but
and,
Whitmarsh was in the sport for decades.
and Whitmarsh has worked in the high-pressure cooker. He's
yeah,
been
he
at
worked
McLaren.
under Ron Dennis
Yeah.
when McLaren were, like, fighting for championships. And, even when they were starting to recede a little bit, he was a casualty of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he knows what it's like to be in the pressure cooker fighting for a championship. He's the guy.
My other problem that's going on with Aston Martin, and it's a line from the movie Ford versus Ferrari, where Carol Shelby says to the Deuce and to Leah Beebe, the second in charge at Ford,
Yeah, some of that.
he says to him, money can't buy you speed. Or I think he says something like that. Where he's trying to say, you can have all the money in the world and buy everything. But if you don't have the man behind the wheel, then you can spend all your money on speed until the cows come home. But if
Yeah.
you don't have the guy behind the wheel... And for me, that highlights really what Aston Martin's issue is.
Yeah, I don't think either Lance Stroll or Sebastian Vettel particularly are championship fighters.
I think,
Lance Stroll never struck me as someone who's going to be anywhere near a championship.
yeah,
And
it's-
Sebastian Vettel's starting to fade into the sunset.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think if Lawrence Stroll wants to truly bring his team up to where he thinks they should be, which is winning
You
championships,
need some fresh blood.
I'm sorry, but I think Lance Stroll's got to become a test driver.
And Sebastian Vettel's going to have to go too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're going to need some fresh blood.
Yeah, they're going to have to go to...
You got to
new
start looking
drivers.
around. You got to start looking around at maybe a Piastri or you got to buy like some up and comers.
Yeah,
Or if Perez somehow loses his seat at Red Bull,
I don't think,
but I
Perez
don't
will
think
go
Perez
there.
would go back.
I think the best two guys to get for that team for next year, if you're clearing the slate, is Oscar Piastri and Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, I was about to say Gasly because
Yeah.
if he wants out of AlphaTauri at some point, and give it 3, I wouldn't say next year. I'd say maybe 2 or 3 years from now. Get Gasly because the Aston Martin will be up where they want it to be.
Yeah.
In probably 3 years. So, and Gasly, by that time, AlphaTauri is probably not a car that's going to win a championship, but the Aston Martin will be.
Yeah.
And I think if Gasly wants out of AlphaTauri and into Aston Martin by that stage, yeah, he'll be pretty much ready.
That's actually the move. I know we've talked about it before. Where does Gasly go to get into a more competitive team?
That's probably it.
That's probably it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Aston Martin gets to the point where they're challenging, which we
they
can
will.
see happening.
They
Yeah,
will.
yeah.
They will.
That's probably the place that opens up for him.
Yeah.
I also think that Aston Martin need to stop copying last year's Mercedes.
Well, they did.
I know this year it's a whole
They
new
did get
slate.
they did get Eric Bladden, the arrowhead from Mercedes. So they'll at least have someone that can develop a similar-ish philosophy car with a similar issue. Although, it's a brand new car for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a brand new aero and brand new... And you can't do much with the aero package. I mean, you can do small things. You can't make radical changes like you could with...
Yeah, they do have a similar agreement to what Haas has with Ferrari, where they do get a lot of what you call stock parts or control parts. But I think, much like with Haas or even more Alfa Romeo, I think that Aston Martin really needs to find an engine supplier that's not treating them like their little kid brother. You know what I mean? Like,
Aston Martin would be a good... I mean, they're probably not going to be able to develop their own engines.
no, but Aston Martin... Well, I mean, what's wrong with Aston Martin? Because even the road cars run Mercedes engines now.
Yeah,
They don't even make their own engines.
Can Aston Martin make their own engines?
They used to,
Exactly.
and they sounded fucking awesome.
Like McLaren make their own engines for their road cars, but McLaren and Mercedes they've been a partnership for decades. Aside from the Honda thing,
Yeah.
it just I mean I wouldn't see Aston Martin running like Peugeot or Porsche engines or Audi. Just to me, if you're sponsored by a car brand,
You need to make your own
you need
engines.
to make your own fucking engines. You can't
Yeah,
be
I think, yeah.
you can't be Aston Martin Porsche because that's just dumb.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're Aston Martin, the team, but we're running a German manufacturer's engine thing.
yeah.
You know, that's weird. That's odd.
But what's even more odd is that in the Aston Martin road car division, like Lawrence Stroll owns it, but he owns it as the head of like a consortium. Part of that consortium is Toto Wolff.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why they've got the Mercedes engines.
So yeah,
The road cars.
he's got that agreement, but he's got to realise that while that agreement works financially and at the moment, Mercedes are never going to give Aston Martin F1 the best of their machinery.
No, that's it.
They won't, but they won't with McLaren either. So long as Mercedes is a works team, Mercedes will give Mercedes, the works team, their best engine.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
That's
Remember
why,
when
like you said,
when McLaren were the dominant team in the late 90s, early 2000s, because Mercedes didn't have a works team. McLaren were the works team.
so they got
That's
all
why
the best.
Mercedes gave them the best.
And then once
It won't happen now.
they bought Brawn, that's when the McLaren slump started.
Yeah, the
because-
McLaren stuff started because Mercedes, Brawn effectively did become Mercedes.
Yeah.
Brawn was the beginning of Mercedes. And yeah, you're right. That was 2009. 2008 was McLaren's last championship. You know, and that's it. You're a customer.
Yep.
If you're not a works team with a works engine, that's why Alfa Romeo is never going to get the best Ferrari engine or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're not Ferrari. They're a customer. You're just buying the engine.
They're a B team. They're
Yeah.
a B
Yeah.
team for Ferrari.
You're buying the engine, but the development of the engine is going on the main engine, which is in the back of the works car.
And to add to that fact, like Frederick Vasseur, who runs Alfa Romeo Sauber, he's not ashamed to sit there and tell Ferrari, like, I'm not taking your driver just because we're buying your engines. You know, we will pick the best drivers for us. That's why they've got Guan Yu Zhou. That's why they've got Valtteri Bottas. That's why they didn't pick up a Robert Schwartzman or a Callum Eilert.
Who
And
both
so they
equally
should.
deserved it. And Piastri.
Yeah, because they went, we're not a Ferrari B team. We buy their engines, and that's it.
They made their own call on Joe.
Whereas, you know...
But they're doing what they
Yeah,
suits it. Yeah,
Exactly.
best for the team.
They're tapping in the
financial-wise.
Chinese market.
Yeah, and that. Yeah,
Whereas Haas are like, yeah, we'll take your juniors.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be your B team, no problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure Gene Haas is sitting there going, well, I don't really want to be a fucking Ferrari B team. You know, I want to be where Lance Stroll is, or your Lawrence Stroll is.
Well, yeah, that was his vision at the beginning.
I would love to see, like you said, JB. Like if you're a works team for a car brand, you should be developing your own engines. Like, you know, Aston Martin should do Aston Martin.
Yeah.
McLaren should do McLaren. I would love to see that, and I'd also even love to see potentially like the non-works teams get engine suppliers from maybe manufacturers that aren't even on the grid. Potentially. I don't know how that could happen, but imagine if Williams could get Toyota to make their engines or something.
Well, they've done that once before. That didn't go very well.
They were better with a BMW engine in the back.
Yeah, but I mean, we'd love to see Williams back with BMW.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Because it does just feel like you've got, your top team, couple top teams, and then there's like 2 B teams for Mercedes and Ferrari.
Yeah.
No one's ever thinking Alfa Romeo or Haas are going to be anywhere near the top because they're just a B team. Same as AlphaTauri and
Red Bull.
Yeah. And Williams as well, You just don't see them ever being up there because it's like they're getting hand-me-downs in a sense. Even though they're buying the engine, they're not getting the development that team is putting into that engine.
Exactly. I think AlphaTauri is forever going to be the B team of Red Bull, but they were the same as Toro Rosso. And I think Sauber could probably go on their own.
Well,
if they wanted to.
Just thinking about it then, it always feels like Alfa Romeo and Williams lately are the teams that get either the pay drivers or the
bigger teams, up-and-coming talent.
Or not even that, like the bigger teams washed up yesterday's news.
Yeah.
I mean, Williams has got Alex Albon, he's a talented driver, but
he's a Red Bull reject.
He is a Red Bull reject,
Yep.
and Nicholas Latifi, who his father is a millionaire like Lawrence Stroll.
Yeah, and Latifi can't drive that great.
No.
He's better than Mazepin.
Yeah, for now.
And I reckon if you put him in equal machinery with Lance Stroll, I reckon he'd do better than Lance Stroll. Oh, that's
I'm not sold on that call.
Yeah.
I've shat on Lance Stroll previously, but he's proven me wrong. So. Well, I think Lance Stroll can genuinely drive.
I think the only way you could find out is if you put him in equal machinery. That's the only way.
I think Stroll gets him.
But it's the same with Alfa Romeo. They've got the pay driver in Guan Yu Zhou.
Yep.
Not the best talent. Yep.
And the Mercedes cast off with Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah, but I'm not upset with getting Bottas as a...
Bottas
at this juncture,
but
Bottas is a pretty good pickup.
But, I mean, going from the top team to the second last team...
Oh, he's going to struggle. He won't be on the podium again, probably ever. Valtteri.
He just feels like he's a cast off, but
that's
also what you get for not showing you've got a killer instinct.
He doesn't have a killer instinct.
He lacks that something that... If you look up and down the grid... If you look up and down the grid...
Every team's got a killer instinct driver.
Well, I mean, look at Mercedes. You've got Lewis and you've got George Russell. Both of those look
instinct.
like world champions.
Yep.
You've got
Verstappen
and Perez. Perez will never be world champion.
Not while Verstappen's there.
Verstappen's got killer instinct, and now he's the world champion.
Yeah.
Perez has, in flashes, killer instinct.
Yes.
You've got Sainz and Leclerc, both of those are fucking killer instinct.
I don't think Sainz is world champion material for some reason.
He is.
But
He is. I think he's more world champion material than Leclerc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you could actually be right there.
I fucking think I'm right.
Mm.
Ricardo's always had killer instinct. Lando's getting there.
I think Lando's a future world champion.
Yeah, I think Lando's got potential to be a future world champion.
I think Ricardo has passed it.
Yeah, he had his chance.
Put a fork in him. He's done. He's on the decline.
Yeah.
Which is sad because he had the talent to be a world champion.
He was close. His chance was at Red Bull, and he fucked it. But.
I don't think Ocon will be world champion.
No.
Ocon and Alonso, Alonso's in the twilight years, but he's still got something to give.
Yeah,
as
but
a
he's
team
driving
player.
for fun, but he's driving well.
Yeah.
He's not ticking the laps like Kimi Raikkonen was last year.
No, he definitely isn't.
He's adding to that team. He deserves to be there while they're building like they are.
Ocon's fast, but he's not a world champion.
He's not a world champion.
For Alpine, their future has to be Piastri. That's where they have to be going. There's our chance at a world champion.
Yes.
Not Ocon. As much as Ocon drove well last year, I still don't think... I just don't think Ocon is a world champion.
Yeah, Ocon Piastri is a good lineup, but I think you put your eggs in the Piastri basket when that happens.
Yeah.
The next team, AlphaTauri. I mean, AlphaTauri will never be a world championship team.
Yeah, but they have a fucking... Pierre Gasly's awesome.
Pierre Gasly, but I don't think Pierre Gasly will ever be world champion.
I think Pierre Gasly's a better driver than Esteban Ocon.
Yeah, easily.
But we'll never know.
Yeah.
And Yuki Tsunoda...
Yeah.
He's got to do something this year because...
He's got to start showing what he's made of because he's turning into another Albon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next team after that was Aston Martin. Look,
Vettel and
no,
Stroll.
Stroll,
Nah.
never be world champion. Vettel,
You
this
need
is
to- you
this
need
is
to-
his last 2 years in F1.
Yeah, you need to replace Vettel with someone better.
You know,
Stroll will do what Stroll does. He'll float around the fucking bottom half of the top 10. But then but he has to be a worse driver.
yeah.
Yes. He
And-
can't be you're the guy you're wanting to.
Stroll cannot be the best driver in that team. You need someone better.
So then after that is Williams. So you've
Ugh.
got Albon and Latifi.
No.
Like,
No.
Albon excites me a little bit because I think he's still got some talent to show. But
Oh,
Latifi's
he's got
shown enough
a
that
chip
he's
on
got
his
enough.
shoulder.
Yeah.
yeah.
Latifi's got nothing. They're going to have to find someone to replace Latifi with.
Yeah.
Well, he's there because his dad's invested in the team.
Maybe Williams should have gone after Guan Yu Zhou then.
Yeah. Yeah. Who do you think will do better this year, Guan Yu Zhou or Latifi? I mean, we don't know what the machinery is going to be like, but
I think,
driver ability.
I think Latifi purely on
Yeah.
experience.
yeah,
You reckon?
Yeah.
yeah. And
Maybe
I
for
think that,
maybe for the first half of the
and
year.
I think that Williams is going to be a far better car this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now they've
So's the Haas.
they've got financial stability, and they're actually putting their money where their mouth is with technical development and that.
Yeah.
I think the Williams is going to be a far
Yeah,
far more along.
that team's going to have a good upswing this year, I think.
The next team, the Alfa Romeo, I
Guan Yu
don't
Zhou.
see either of them as world championship
No.
material.
I mean, Bottas had his time to be
Bottas.
one and never
Yeah.
did.
Bottas had no bite, and Guan Yu Zhou is brand new.
Yep.
He's fast, but he's not. I don't know. Maybe you'll be wrong. Guan Yu Zhou and fucking Yuki Tsunoda, maybe they're in a little bit of the same boat.
This might sound racist, but I think I'm going to laugh every time that Yuki Tsunoda and Guan Yu Zhou crash into each other.
China versus Japan. They're not going to crash into each other, but when they're around each other on the track,
It'll be a
it'll just be interesting. I'll be like, look, Yuki Tsunoda was the guy coming out of Formula 2 with all the speed and all the talent, even though he wasn't world champion. And now Guan Yu Zhou's the same guy,
Yeah.
coming out of Formula 2 with all the speed and all the talent and all the backing, but he wasn't the world champion either.
And then you've got the Haas. Look, Nikita Mazepin, as Longhorn pointed out in the rants last year, he doesn't see Formula One as fun. He sees it as a job.
Yeah, that's such a shit take.
Oh,
But I do see Mick Schumacher as a world champion.
He's a world champion.
He's a world champion in a Ferrari,
Yeah, but
but he'll have Carlos Sainz
Here's-
or Charles Leclerc.
here's
teammate.
the
Yeah.
wrinkle on everything. Here is the wrinkle. Another news story broke is that Ferrari, because Carlos Sainz's contract was ending at the end of this year,
There's no way they're ditching him.
they're offering him a 3-year extension.
Yep, they're
They're
realizing
taking the eggs out of the Charles Leclerc
this
basket.
is what we said at the end of the year was
They're
how
taking-
underrated Sainz was, and we talked about them putting all the eggs
Lando
into
came out.
Leclerc. and-
Lando came out yesterday, and he's like, "Now everyone can see what I saw."
Mm.
He's like, "It's like everyone saw it at McLaren, but now they're really seeing what Carlos Sainz is about." It's like, don't turn your nose up at him because potential world champion, man.
Yep, I
And-
think he is.
Yeah, I think he's Ferrari's way forward, and
He
much,
is.
much like Max Verstappen had his old man Jos Verstappen sort of help him along and try and get him to calm down a bit. Carlos Sainz has got his old man, who was a world champion in World Rally, and I know
His
I
old
know-
man's doing the Dakar right now.
I know that's a completely different discipline, but it's the same type of pressure.
Yeah, well, whatever's working for Carlos is working.
Yeah,
Like, if it's not his dad at the moment, because his dad's doing Dakar, whatever is going on in his camp is working because he had an awesome year at McLaren, then he had an even more awesome year, a career best year.
Every year
At
he's
Ferrari.
every year he's had a career
He's
best
been
year
getting better and better
from
and
where
better.
he was at that point.
yeah, because before McLaren he was at Renault.
Yep.
Yeah,
And before that, he was at Toro Rosso.
yeah, he was like crap.
He was
Ish.
crap at Toro Rosso
And then
because
he
he
was
was teammates with Max Verstappen, and everything was focused on Max Verstappen.
Yeah, because Max Verstappen, and then he made his Red Bull debut. You know,
and
he
Pierre
was
Gasly
crap.
became his teammate for 6 months.
And then he was like sort of better at Renault, and then he
Yeah.
was great at McLaren, and now he's fucking amazing at Ferrari.
Yeah.
Like he's just built and built and built.
So he's just he's on the climb up,
He is.
and he could be world champion.
Yeah.
But then that also sits there and says, well, they've got to make space for Mick Schumacher.
Yeah,
At
and I think
some point.
at this juncture, Charles Leclerc's going to be the one that loses out.
Yeah,
Charles Leclerc and Gasly end up at Aston Martin in a couple of years.
yeah. Well, that'd be a striking.
And Mick Schumacher jumps up to Ferrari with Sainz.
Yeah, that
That
would be a
would be-
striking.
Yeah.
And particularly if, like, Charles Leclerc signed a 4-year contract with Ferrari, I wouldn't mind betting that if he doesn't perform either this year or next year, they're going to buy out his contract and bring Mick Schumacher
I
in.
feel a little bad. Like, he hasn't made that many mistakes last year.
But he didn't do anything.
But he's not. Yeah, but Carlos obviously was the better driver and more consistent driver.
Mm.
But yeah, you're right. He sort of plateaued. Hey,
And I also
Like,
think
he
Carlos
was-
Sainz would be a better teammate for Schumacher if they're bringing Schumacher in going, well, we're going to put our eggs into Schumacher. I think Sainz would be the better teammate in that
Yeah.
situation than Leclerc and Schumacher.
Leclerc and Vettel always had that sort of Rosberg Hamilton vibe.
Yep.
Where they really were competing amongst themselves and they would crash into each other and all manner of shit. And it was all because Sebastian Vettel realised that the new kid had some talent and was pushing him out the door.
Yeah, he was the future.
And it sucks because, like, Vettel was given his all for that team, but
yeah, he did
once
lead the championship a few times as well.
but then once he crashed out in Germany,
yeah,
when he was leading by a country mile and he just put it in the wall because of whatever, he just went down the shitter.
yeah, that also cost him the championship lead as well.
Yeah.
Like,
That and crashing into Kimi and Max at Singapore in 2018.
I can't remember that crash too well. It was in the rain.
It was...
But was that Seb's fault?
yes.
Because he came across.
He came across, clipped Kimi,
Yeah, and then crashed into.
crashed
Max.
into Max.
Yeah, that's the only time it's rained in Singapore during a race.
So yeah, there was... well, that's right. Sorry, I forgot about the third news story. Now, this is only rumour and hearsay. Rumour and hearsay. Rumour and hearsay is that McLaren might have a new title sponsor. Vodafone might be returning.
I didn't even know Vodafone still existed.
Yeah,
it's
neither did I.
weird. Vodafone's not big like it was in the mid 2000s.
But it'd be interesting to see McLaren running the silver and red.
The chrome and red livery would
Because
make
that
a
was-
comeback.
Gorgeous.
Oh, it was brilliant under the lights.
And no offense, like, I know the papaya is Bruce McLaren's colours, but it doesn't look like a McLaren if it's not white and red or red and silver or silver and black.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
can make
it-
the argument.
I don't mind a little bit of orange in it.
Like the papaya and blue is
Papaya,
a fucking
sorry.
good combination, but yeah, if you're running Mercedes engines,
You
know,
need to...
traditionally it's silver and black and red.
I am happy, though, if Mercedes are going back to running the silver and the teal. That
They are apparently.
I-
That's pretty much confirmed.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think we need less cars with blue on them, though.
we need less blue cars.
I mean, last year we had what? AlphaTauri is white and navy.
Yeah, but that's good.
We'll-
They need to swap that back around though.
They need to
They're-
go
they're-
back to
they're-
the Toro Rosso colours.
No, their 2019 livery was better when it was predominantly white with the navy.
No. The
Nah.
2018 Toro Rosso livery, where it was blue with silver writing and a red border on it.
Yeah,
That
but
was
you're not a
just-
Red Bull. I mean, you are a Red Bull Junior team, but you're not.
You're an
you're not-
AlphaTauri.
You're not Toro Rosso anymore. You don't have to put a bull on it.
Well, it still does have a bull.
I mean, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be the Red Bull logo like it
Yeah.
was. It's now the AlphaTauri logo, which is
Yeah.
they'll stick with that colour
I
scheme.
can understand Williams keeping the blue. I wish their car
They need a camel. They need that camel logo.
Camel and Cannon.
What is camel?
Smokes.
Cigarettes. Yeah.
Cigarettes.
Fuck it, just put it on there.
And then
Put it on in a different language, like Latin or something. So
Mission
one of those.
winner,
Yeah.
camel. Put it on there in like Arabic. And
well,
then
no,
like,
no,
fucking-
Ferrari's got a new title sponsor.
Yeah, I heard they're ditching Mission winner.
Yeah, they're ditching Mission Win now, but Marlboro is still a sponsor, but the title sponsor is Santander. They're back.
Ah, they're back with the Santander.
Yeah.
Yes, I like those cars.
Yeah. So, yay, cool. That's awesome.
Yay. No, no.
Epson has ditched Mercedes.
Yeah,
Yeah, Epson, one of their title sponsors, has ditched Mercedes.
there you
I
go.
bet you any money they go to Aston Martin.
Oh,
Bet you any money.
Did I hear correctly as well? I don't know if this was just a rumor, but is it BWT leaving Aston Martin? What's the major sponsor of Aston Martin?
Yeah, BWT.
Yeah, BWT.
I think they are leaving, yeah.
Yep.
BWT was the reason those Force Indias were pink, the racing
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
But BWT has their own team in Formula 2.
Yeah.
So,
Eh,
I wouldn't mind seeing some of the Formula 2 teams take the big gamble and come up to F1. To have a few more cars on the grid.
it won't happen.
More the better.
It won't happen until there's more engine supplies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, F2, they're all running Mechachrome.
Yeah, they're all.
There's a name we haven't heard for a long time.
That's a control series.
Yeah.
They all run the same engine. They all run the same gearbox.
And Mechachrome is Renault.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's like well, not IndyCar. IndyCar have a few different engines, but it's a control. It's a spec series.
What does IndyCar have? They've got Chevrolet,
Honda and Chevrolet.
Honda and Chevrolet, and yet Honda wants to get out of Formula 1.
Yeah,
The fuck?
they're
That's stupid.
They're fucking fickle. They always have been.
And I bet you 2026 Honda will want to come back.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd
you know,
rather-
I said Zafnauer was going to leave Aston Martin, and that came
I'd rather
true.
see Toyota come.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather see a Toyota Works team. I love that car.
And the final bit of news, moving right along, there's rumours going around about Lewis Hamilton, my favourite person in the entire world.
$2.99.
$2.99. Meh. That either he is going to boycott the 2022 season, and he is going to retire from Formula One,
Hope he does at this point.
or that he does actually show up and do his job. Look, I don't want to see him go. I think he just signed a new contract, last year? 2 years ago?
Yeah, wasn't it the big fucking debacle about like his paycheck and he fucking signed it at the 11th hour
Yeah.
because he just fucking held Mercedes over a fucking water bucket until
I'd
they
like to
signed.
see him honour his contract.
He will. He will. He's not going anywhere.
Well, here's a really good question then. Let's say he takes a year off or he retires. Because he is now a knight. He is Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, he gets to ride a horse with a big stick. Lance people.
Here's the question. Who replaces him?
Piastri.
Piastri would be nice.
I don't know
who's
if
the
it'd be him,
Mercedes test
but
driver?
that'd be good. Van Dorn. Steffel Van
I
Dorn.
would not be putting stuff on that.
No.
Put the dessert back in the car. Yes. Yes. Put the dessert back in the car.
Well,
Oh,
who's-
give Nikita Mazepin his chance.
Yeah,
He's
give
always
Nikita
wanted to be a
Mazepin.
world
No.
champion. He said he needs to be in a bigger team.
Yeah,
Give him
but
his shot.
yeah, but Toto Wolff will sit there and say, "Fuck off, son. You got to take this shit seriously." I don't think this is fun.
Yeah.
I'd rather be driving buggies or shooting
Moscow.
AK-47s. Fuck off. Get the fuck out of F1.
Fucking
Yeah.
wanker.
There's your first sound bite for the year. Get the fuck out of F1. Fuck off. You were going to say something, JB?
Yeah, I'm just thinking who the fuck would replace Lewis if he doesn't step up?
Latifi. He
it-
works well with George Russell.
Latifi. Get him up there.
Get in there, Lewis. I mean, Latifi.
Everyone's still under contract. I
Yeah.
mean, you probably wouldn't be able to pinch a Carlos Sainz or a Daniel Ricciardo at this point.
Or a Gasly.
Or a Perez.
He's,
Would they throw cash and try and get Mick Schumacher?
would they?
No.
Could this potentially happen? Could they grab Ocon and then Alpine pull up Piastri?
Could they just grab Piastri?
Oh, well, yeah, they
Imagine
could,
Piastri
could do
just
that,
ju-
but Renault
Imagine
might.
Piastri just jumping straight into fucking
Oh, wouldn't that be good?
Mercedes.
But then Mercedes is like at the back next year because the car's no good. We're like,
I
ah.
don't know.
Ripped off.
I honestly don't have an answer to your question. I don't know who they'd replace Lewis with.
Stoffel Van Dorn.
Yeah.
Pascal Verlaine.
It'd have to be Stoffel because he's the one that's been testing the car.
Or what about
And then George Russell just becomes the out-and-out number one driver.
What about Nick De Vries?
Is he a test? Yeah, he is actually a test driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Nick DeVries is fucking talented, but we never get to fucking see it.
And he is a Mercedes,
Test driver.
like, he's in the Mercedes
Academy.
driver program, yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Nick DeVries, yeah, he's had my vote for years.
Yeah.
He's fucking good.
But I think Lewis will show up.
Lewis will show up. He won't.
But
he can't.
he's chucking a tantrum like he...
He'll chuck it. He's chucking a tanty like he chucked the tanty out of his fucking contract initially.
All the
Yeah.
toys are out the
He'll
clock
come back because for the fans, you can't go to Silverstone without there being Lewis Hamilton.
because I'm humble.
And because of the
'Cause
boys
I'm
back
so-
at the factory.
I'm so fucking humble.
Yeah, right.
The fans made me come back 'cause I'm so humble.
Yeah,
Oh.
I came back for the fans.
What a bunch of wank.
I came back for the fans of my $300 million
I
contract.
came back to use my voice for good, you know.
I came back to be a positive change for the planet. He's going to roll back in
It just
Bahrain.
really boils my pants.
He's going to roll in the Bahrain test on his fucking scooter and his fucking
Yeah.
purple robe with his big fuck-off rapper sunglasses on.
Yeah.
And his
And a fucking crown on his
and
head.
a crown on his head because he's a
And the
knight
sword that he was knighted with.
now. And
He's
fucking
going to have his assistant carrying all this other assorted shit for him. And
His
she's
hot-
going to be able to
his
do it.
hot
because-
trainer.
Yes. And she's going to be able to carry it because she's a fit bird.
And he's going to have like this little fan and he's going to fucking have like his dreadlocks.
And his dog.
And his dog Coco. I don't
No,
like
it's
his dog.
Roscoe.
Oh, what happened to Coco? He had 2 dogs. Maybe he
Coco died.
Yeah, Coco died.
So he had Roscoe.
Now he's got Roscoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, he's going to roll into fucking Bahrain with his fucking pimp chains and his fucking eco-friendly fucking vegan food. And he's going to get in the car and he's going to
All I
fucking...
can think of, there's some
run
song.
laps.
I don't know the actual song, but I've seen Benedict Cumberbatch do it in an Alan Rickman voice. Where he's like, rolling down the street, he's sipping on some juice. Lay down.
That's going to be what's playing. While he's sipping on his fucking vegan soy latte. His economically friendly fucking tote bag.
Listening to his shitty rap music.
Yeah.
Because he makes his own music or something. I haven't heard it.
No,
of
he
course he
can't.
does.
Surely not.
Of course he does.
If he
fuck.
does, that's now the permanent intro of this podcast. Lewis Hamilton just tragically rapping. Have you heard Tyrone Woodley rap?
No.
Longhorn?
Is it
It's
Bad?
fucking as bad as you imagine.
is it as bad as his boxing career's going?
Yeah,
at the
it's
moment?
fucking worse. I'll send you a
no.
link.
Oh no.
I will send you a fucking link.
You send me the link, I'll put it in the description of the video.
Yeah. If Lewis could rap on par with that. God,
What is it with
I'm gonna find that. If Lewis Hamilton has a shitty rap video out there, I'm gonna find it, and that is now the intro of the F1 chat forever.
It was going to be the old,
The montage.
the Dire Straits fucking F1 theme.
No.
from the-
We're appealing to the younger generation now.
We're an eco-friendly podcast here. So
Lewis Hamilton shitty rapping.
Yeah, this podcast is made with recycled shit. 100% recycled shit from elsewhere.
That's how I got on.
That's it.
Bringing
Right.
in rejects. Pretty sure this Great Northern bottle's made of recycled glass to start.
Yeah, that beer is made from recycled beer too.
Oh,
Oh, that was
that
recycled.
was recycled courtesy of Great Northern Brewing Company.
Enjoy responsibly.
Drink responsibly.
What's the slogan for Great Northern?
The beer from up here. From where you'd rather be. In my belly.
Sweet baby Jesus.
That was nice.
So,
So,
moving right along, we decided after, pardon me, after Longhorn was badgering us on our group chat saying, I really miss F1. I miss doing the potty and I miss doing F1.
It's been 2 weeks. 3
yeah,
weeks?
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since our last confession.
yeah. It's too long for me. I need to get my fix.
It's like a heroin addict.
We've got him hooked.
Just scratching,
Jesus Christ. He's
scratching
sitting there
his.
scratching his arm
scratching his
frantically in
arm
the
over-
corner.
Well, I've got a 7-month at home, so it's like my escape. You know what I mean?
Ah,
It's my get out the house. Like, oh, it's really
Right.
important. It's really important stuff, babe. You know, I've got
The
I've
truth.
got a podcast to do. You know,
The truth comes out. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. We were gonna wait for testing and the delivery reveal, but someone doesn't want to.
Right. So we decided that we were going to watch a retro race.
What a retro race it was!
Yep, it's
Yes,
awesome.
we decided to pop on the 2000 German F1 from Old Hockenheim before Hermann Tilke fucked it.
AKA bring your air horn to work day.
Yes.
Bring your half-wit to work, day.
Unless you've been fired from Mercedes.
In which case, throw your air horn away, jump the fence, and cost McLaren a certain win. You dog.
Yeah, well, they fired him. What do you expect? What do you expect him to do?
McLaren didn't fire him.
Mercedes
Mercedes.
did.
It's not McLaren's problem.
Hang on.
But they were the kind of Mercedes then, weren't
Yeah,
they?
they were the Mercedes Works team.
Yeah, but who gives a shit?
Therefore-
Irrelevant.
Therefore,
Irrelevant. Mika Hakkinen's
Therefore-
angry assassin wife is going to hunt you down. Kill you.
$2.99. So we popped on the 2000 German F1, which it was a really interesting race. Like,
It was
really,
pretty phenomenal.
It was good. It had action from top to bottom. Michael Massey didn't have to get the safety car out and get lap cars to unlap themselves because they were all on the same lap.
Because the track's 700 miles long.
Yeah, but even if they raced it today, you'd still have someone lapping the Alfa Romeos and the Haases and the Williams and even the Alfa Tauris.
And one of the McLarens.
And one
Daniel Ricciardo, usually.
yeah, probably.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
This is your team you're shitting on. Yeah.
Look, man, I mean, there was a race this year where only Max, Lewis, and Valtteri finished on the lead lap. I think it was like Austria, maybe? Like, seriously, like, we've seen it a lot.
Yeah. Whereas watching this
Nice change not to see it.
it was a nice change to watch it. It was a nice change hearing that V10 sound.
It was beautiful.
That howl.
You know what was nice to see for me, as like this is new for me, going back and watching the old races, which is part of the reason we did this as well. What was awesome just to see was just so many cars so close to each other, racing. You know, like so many cars were within a position to try and overtake each other. Just had to work out how they could do it, but it wasn't like, you know, these giant gaps we see, and then it's just procedural racing to the end of the. You know, once you get past the first few laps, it's like, oh, well, that's it. Like, I mean, in this race, Barrichello went from 18th to 1st.
Yep.
You know, it was...
It was also nice to see that drivers actually doing driver skill, not getting to the DRS point and then just pushing the button.
Yes, exactly
Like,
right.
the cars were all set to DRS anyway because of their rear wing, which
No,
was
that
just
Ferrari ring
flat.
was flat.
It was just beautiful to see, like, along the straight, you'd just see 12 cars just...
Yeah, and
within
like,
a-
even the
you know,
back markers,
yeah,
like, there was
fighting,
like
you know?
this big, like, fucking 8 back markers.
Yeah.
Just fighting, like, and you didn't know where anyone was going to finish.
Yes, yep.
And it kept you on the edge of the seat. Like, early on you would have gone because Schumacher crashed, Michael crashed out on the first corner. And he still would not accept that he was at fault. Even though it really wasn't his fault. He was just trying to avoid...
Well, he did try...
Coulthard.
What it was... It kind of wasn't his fault, but it was more, I guess, his fault than Fisichella, who he kept blaming, like
Yeah.
it was Fisichella's fault. Which,
Where was Fisichella
was-
supposed
wasn't.
to go?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know?
I mean, he'd already been burnt by Mika Hakkinen. God, that was a brilliant start.
Yeah, that was
It's one of the
awesome.
best, like, starts I've seen.
You know what was even better, though? The finish. That was even better.
Yeah.
Was that a pun?
I mean,
No.
all for Rubens Barrichello, though. He fucking drove a great race.
Yeah,
But
he did drive a great
did.
race. And that Ferrari and those McLarens were absolute bullets.
those McLarens were fucking bullets from the start.
You know what else was... It wasn't quite as fast as those cars, but the Jordans running the Mugen Honda engines.
It was cool to
And-
see the Jordans up there. It was
and
cool
the
to see the
Arrows.
arrows up there with Jos Verstappen.
Yeah.
And they were all, like, up the front early, like,
But-
fighting.
And you
Yeah.
still had you still had competitive BAR Hondas. You still had competitive Sauber Petronases, Benettons.
Yeah, the Jaguars there until they both
Yeah.
spun and died. But
Even the Minardis were somewhat competitive. Even the Williams. The Williams.
yeah, the Williams was
It
there.
was unusual seeing a Williams relatively up the front.
Yeah, well, didn't Button finish fourth?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, you sit there and now you go, Williams coming fourth. Get fucked.
I mean,
Really?
it wasn't that long ago that they were there with
No.
Valtteri
If
Bottas.
Williams are coming fourth now, it must be Q1, and they're the fourth car to have done their lap.
It's rained out.
Yeah.
You know, but this was so much interest. It was interesting hearing about fuel strategy.
Yes, refueling in pit stops.
Added another element other than just tyres
Yeah.
being the only strategy.
Yeah, no one was bitching about tyres. No one was bitching about Pirelli. It was fuel strategy and making your tyres work and making the right call when the weather changed.
Yep.
And it was nice to watch a race where you didn't have team radio every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Where a lot of the teams were using team pit boards.
Yeah.
And
I liked the FIA, how like Murray Walker was talking about, like, oh, I think there's a penalty coming, but we'll find out soon.
yeah,
It's like, well, Michael Massey would have already fucking said shit over the radio,
Yep.
and you'd know there's a penalty coming, and then someone would be arguing to fucking Michael Massey about not giving them a penalty.
yeah.
But now this is just like the FIA is going to say something in a minute, and we'll find out who's in trouble and for what.
I'm glad we're not going to get that this upcoming year.
Yeah.
No, the only thing we're going to hear is if Michael Massey talks to the team.
That's
The
what it
team's
should be.
not gonna be
The
talking
penalty.
back.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know, which, yeah, I've got no problem with that. But,
We're still going to get radio from drivers to the teams?
yes,
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that won't
Yep.
go
Yeah,
away.
yeah, cool. Yeah.
We just won't get the FIA.
Yeah,
radio.
just don't want to hear the bitching between team principals and Michael Massey.
yeah, no, it's apparently it's going to be one-way traffic where it's Massey talking to the teams and that's it. They don't get a return a serve. They don't get to argue. That's what it is. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, because
Good.
it fucking, yeah.
And
Yeah, take it on the chin, like,
I just remembered something then. The FIA president, the new FIA president, is still pissed at Lewis Hamilton. He still wants to have a word with him.
Well, he'll get his chance assuming Lewis comes back, which he will.
So,
He can stand at the gate of Bahrain and fucking hold a stick out when his fucking scooter comes past. Fucking send him head over fucking tit and be like, you, here, now.
the results at the end of 45 laps of the old Hockenheim track. How good was the old Hockenheim track?
oh, it was wicked, wasn't it?
It was
Just-
brilliant,
yeah.
and now it's all forest.
Yeah, but I mean,
so simple, and it was so good.
and it was just the drivers could turn the wick up, just stomp
Yeah.
on the go pedal,
Yep.
and just hook it.
Just send it.
And then when you got to the stadium section, that was your little technical bit, and then it was back onto full power.
Yeah, send it again. Yep.
And that's really what I want to. That's why I like Monza and Spa so much, because there's points on the track where you just stomp on the loud pedal and just go.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going and going and going.
Yep. And that's where you can make up your time.
Yeah, and
You know, from putting your foot down, braking late, all that kind of stuff. Where
that's where you get your overtaking and you get your interest.
yeah,
Yeah, you get your overtaking, you get your interest, you get all the fans who sit there. They want to see these cars get turned up to 11.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, but fuck Monaco, fuck Abba Jabba Jab. I want tracks like this, where it's just squash the loud pedal.
yeah,
But also don't want Herman Tilke designed corners like Coda. Coda has points where you can stomp on the loud pedal and go. But then at the end of it, it's got some corner that was designed with a compass and a protractor.
No, it
Yeah.
was designed and ripped off another fucking track.
Or three.
It's either, Max, it's fucking Silverstone into Istanbul Park into fucking Abu Dhabi.
So the results after 45 laps, Rubens Barrichello in the Ferrari was first.
Good man.
Second was Mika Hakkinen in the McLaren Mercedes. Third was David Coulthard in the other McLaren Mercedes. Fourth was Jenson Button in the Williams BMW. It feels so strange saying some of these names. Fifth was Mika Salo in the Sauber Petronas. Sixth was Pedro Della Rosa in the Arrow Supertech, getting the last points paying position. Seventh was Ralph Schumacher in the other Williams BMW. Eighth was Jacques Villeneuve in the BAR Honda. 9th was Jarno Trulli in the Jordan Mugen Honda. 10th was Eddie Irvine in the Jaguar Cosworth. 11th was Gaston Mazzacane in the Minardi Fondmetal. Gee, that sounds like... I don't want to say that out loud. 12th was Nick Heidfeld in the Prost Peugeot. And then the retirements were Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the other Jordan. Jos Verstappen in the Arrows Supertech. It's strange saying Jos Verstappen, not Max Verstappen. Ricardo Zonta in the BAR Honda. Marc Genet in the Minardi. Alexander Wirtz in the Benetton Playlife. Pedro Niniz in the Sauber Petronas. Jean Alesi, I think this was his last season in F1 too, in the Prost Peugeot. Johnny Herbert in his last season in F1 in the Jaguar Cosworth. The Michael Schumacher in the Ferrari. And Giancarlo Fisichella in the Benetton Playlife. This race had it all. I mean, we had a lunatic, Mr. Halfwit, as Murray Walker referred to as. He was a disgruntled ex-Mercedes employee who'd been fired, so he decided he was going to protest on the track. You had the crash on the first corner with Michael Schumacher. You had numerous little incidents all the way along. Like there was Jean Alesi's crash with, I think it was Deniz, where the wheels came off.
Yeah, the wheels flew off. A nice counterpoint as to why they have wheel tethers now.
Yeah, well, I think they did have wheel tethers at that point, but I think something might have snapped and gone mang fooey.
They weren't very good wheel tethers.
Yeah, no. But I mean, it looked like it was an early reason for, or it was a close call for a reason for having a halo back then.
Yeah, that tyre bounced up and nearly got him in the helmet.
Then there was Zonta spun his teammate Jacques Villeneuve.
Mm-hmm.
What a good recovery from Villeneuve on that.
Yeah, keep it going. Yeah.
And, yeah, but I mean, the spin that he was put in, that would have been a couple of G on that.
Yeah, definitely.
That was like a fucking 1080, like he just was not stopping.
Kind of reminded me of the spin from Top Gun.
Yeah.
Spun him like a top, and then he was facing the wrong way, and he still was able to spin it back around and get going, and
kept the engine running. Yeah, it was good.
And it was great. It was great seeing a lot of old teams that still exist, or still kind of exist on F1's modern grid, but under different aliases. Like Jordan, which is now Aston Martin. Minardi, which is now AlphaTauri. Jaguar, which is now Red Bull.
Yep.
Arrows. I can't remember what happened to Arrows. Sauber, which is now Alfa Romeo Sauber.
Yeah.
But still running Ferrari engines.
There you go.
The only time Sauber was really effective was when they were bought out and rebranded as BMW.
Yeah.
And then BMW pulled the pin and Peter Sauber bought the team back and then started running Ferrari engines again.
Yes, that BMW was pretty though.
It's funny though, going back, like when BMW ran the team, that was their most successful. I think that highlights the thing that they need to be a factory works team.
They just
your
need
own
a
engine.
BMW V10. They still hold the speed record at Monza. Pablo Montoya.
Yeah, but that was him driving the Williams BMW.
Oh, sorry. It was a
Is that-
BMW powered car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But seeing how simple the aerodynamics on those cars were back then, and they could follow another car, they could overtake. And it just, I think I said it during the race, how this really highlights how, and it was something the race pointed out, that particularly the last 5 years or so in F1, aerodynamically, Formula One's gone the wrong way. They've gone for how fast can the cars go, not how good can we make the racing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was also really nice to hear, nothing against, who's the current commentator?
David Croft.
David Croft. Nothing against David Croft. But how good was it hearing the late Murray Walker and Martin Brundle?
Yeah, it was great. It was good.
Every time Murray Walker stuffed up, Martin would sit there and correct him.
He's very excitable.
Yeah. I'd love when he repeated himself sometimes because he's just that excited, you know.
Truly,
Yeah,
great.
truly.
He's
Or-
just a fan of the sport.
Or referring to the guy as Mr. Halfwit.
Yeah.
Mr. Halfway was saying that Hakkinen was coming in for a pit stop at Ferrari. Like, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't change his tyres, but he could try.
He can pull up.
Yeah, he just
Like,
pull up.
Ferrari is getting ready for Mika Hakkinen, and the McLaren mechanics are standing there.
And then you had the weather at the end of the race.
Yeah, typical Hockenheim weather.
Where
Just to spice it up.
it's wet on the stadium section of the track, and then the forest section is bone dry.
Yep.
And that's why when you see a current race at Hockenheim, like we did, I think it was 2019 was the last time we were there, and it pissed down rain because everyone went off at some point.
Yeah, it was an amazing race, though.
It was great, but it was great because it only rains on the stadium section.
Yeah. It was great because Bottas and Hamilton crashed. Well, Bottas crashed and Hamilton went off.
But didn't Charles Leclerc crash as well?
Yeah,
And Sebastian Vettel?
and Carlos Sainz. I think Max Verstappen won that race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, it was a good race. I think
Yeah.
it was just a complete curveball.
Yeah. But seeing the old Hockenheim where it was absolutely piss down rain in the stadium section, it was bone dry. You've got two McLarens that went for the wet tyres because they were slipping all over the place in the stadium section. And you've got Rubens Barrichello doing the drive of a lifetime and driving through that wet section. And it was wet.
Yeah,
It was wet on slicks.
Yep.
It was a great drive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Perfect control.
It was just an amazing race, and it's up there as one of my top 10 races of all time.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
And with all the overtaking, and it just kept your interest all the way through.
Yeah, it's like every 2 or 3 laps, something would happen.
Yeah.
Like something. Somewhere in the field
Yep.
would catch your attention.
And again, with the cars, we noticed there was 7 different engine manufacturers
Yep.
out of, I think there was 11
22.
teams. Yeah,
22 cars. So
yeah,
11
22
teams.
cars, so 11 teams, and there's 7 different engine manufacturers.
We've got 20 cars now and 4 engine manufacturers.
Yeah,
Like, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
You can have a 24-car grid with fucking 7, 8 engine manufacturers.
That'd
Yeah.
be great.
You could have fucking one team, like almost every team could have an exclusive engine supplier.
and spices it up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, who's it? Fucking doesn't say Mercedes has the best engine this year. It could be fucking a BMW engine
That's it.
or an Audi engine or a
Rather
Porsche
than
engine.
what we got now, which is it seems like you've got an A team, a B team, and even a C team.
Yeah, you've got the Honda Power Unit, which was probably the fastest for the first part of the season, but then Mercedes caught up, and then but you've got 4 or 6, Mercedes powered cars.
Yeah, because there's 3 Mercedes teams, 3 Ferrari teams, 2 Honda teams, and 1 Renault team.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, you can easily drop to 2.
Should be 2 each engine supplier,
Yeah.
max.
Yeah,
You know, and you look at this race, you've got a Ferrari, a Mercedes, a BMW, a Honda,
Cosworth.
Cosworth, the old Cosé,
Peugeot.
Playlife, which was rebadged Renault,
Yep.
which also was Supertech, which was what Arrows were running, and I think Fundamental were rebadged Renault as well,
Yeah,
and Sauber were running Petronas, which were rebadged Ferrari engines.
yeah,
So you still had 7 different engine manufacturers on the grid.
yep.
And it's like, what? Why can't we have that now?
It's entirely
Yeah.
possible now, and I think that's what the future holds.
I hope it does.
The future is going to look like the past. Like 2025, 2026
I think-
could look like early 2000s
I think
Formula One.
that's the idea
That is the idea.
that Stefano Domenicali and Liberty Media and Ross Brawn are really pushing for, is to bring engine manufacturers back.
They're looking to phase out DRS. Like, they want it to be like early
Yeah.
2000s racing again, where you have to make your overtakes, but once you make your overtakes, you can still be within 2 seconds of the car in front without your tyres burning out.
Yeah.
You can have 12 cars in a group,
Yep.
all fighting for different positions with all different engine manufacturers with strategy battles. I don't think they're ever going to bring back refueling, unfortunately.
Which
But that's what they want. They want to go back to the past eventually. They want to go back to the future. They want their new cars to be like the old cars, but
and deserves to be because
but with more high tech.
Yeah.
They want new cars with old racing, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I still maintain in 2026, Honda will return. Because Honda always backs out and says, "Oh, we're leaving because of this, or because of that, or because of something else."
Then
And
they
then-
come back.
And then they'll see someone else join in or some kind of success and like a raising of awareness in Formula One, and also see how much cheaper it is once they ditch the MGUH and go, we can get back into that. We can be successful.
And it won't be just Honda. Could be anyone. Could be Toyota. Could be BMW.
What I saw. I think it was Aidan Millward, who he did a thing about the Toyota Formula One team and why they weren't successful. And it was actually because of Toyota's corporate structure that the team was not successful. Because every decision that the team principal made was not backed up by the head honchos at Toyota back in Japan, because they wanted to have the say. It had to be decided by a committee, because that's how their company works. And because they didn't have a say, and the team principal was making decisions on the ground in split-second timing, and wasn't shooting it off to Japan for them to discuss it over a 2-week period, nothing was getting done properly.
Yeah.
And it all just fell apart. And they thought that they would come in and just rule the world and show everyone that their method of doing everything was the right way. And
I still think they could, but they've got to change their philosophy.
that's right.
I think it's a shame that they weren't in Formula One during the turbo hybrid era.
They probably would have dominated.
That's yeah.
Can you
I know,
imagine
I-
Toyota versus Honda and versus Mercedes?
Versus Mercedes, yeah, I think they would have been up the top there if
Yeah.
they were in. That's
Oh,
why
I
I'm
mean,
saying it was a shame.
Look at their road cars. Like every one of their road cars has got just an engine version and a hybrid version now.
Yeah.
Plus, you've got the Prius. I mean, the Prius was
The first hybrid
the first
car.
Yep.
hybrid car. They have.
They've been running the technology for fucking years.
So why are they not sitting there going, well, we should try and get back into Formula One?
Yeah, it's perfect for us right at this point.
And I mean, they do endurance racing, don't they? They're still in Le Mans.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they
I
know
mean-
how to make a long distance hybrid engine. They know how to fucking do it.
Because I mean, you've got Audi and Porsche.
Yep, they're coming.
Yeah.
Or at least one of them are.
I think it's going to be Porsche.
Yeah, nice.
Which, but I mean, look at Audi's road cars. I mean, Audi shocked the world. You've got all these cars like the McLaren 570S, and I mean, you're more of a McLaren specialist than I am, but the McLaren road supercars.
Yeah, the 765 and the P1 and the Senna and the Longtail.
Yeah, and you've got
They're all hybrids now.
and you've got like
The LaFerrari.
the LaFerrari,
Porsche
and-
918.
Yeah, and you've got all these cars. Even the step down from the hypercar. Like your Lamborghini Gallardos and Murcielagos and Aventadors. And then Audi comes along with the Audi R8, which is just powered by a V8.
Yep.
It's not even a V10, it's a V8.
Yep.
And it is a supercar killer.
Although there is a V10 version of that car.
Yeah, but when it was initially launched,
Yeah, it was a
a V8.
Yep.
And that thing was a supercar killer, so why can they, it's not a stretch of the imagination for them to do something with a V6 turbo hybrid in Formula One, and for it to be...
Well, they're
a success.
also in endurance racing. They
Yeah.
know how to make a hybrid engine.
And they were in Formula E.
So they know how to do the electric side too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of teams that could be primed to enter Formula One.
What is BMW doing now?
Nothing.
They just got, British touring cars.
The M series. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a shame because they had the best V10 engine on the market at one
Yeah,
point.
but I mean, it would work
I mean,
well
yes,
for
it's a
them.
V10,
But I mean...
but they've got that fucking concept car that's like electric hybrid.
Yeah, that's on the Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
thing.
Which
They know how to make
because
hybrid.
Tom Cruise owns one.
Yeah. Like, they know how to make...
'Cause that'll make up for him being a fuckhead.
It won't, but...
We only hate you because you fucking broke Nicole Kidman's heart, you fucking prick.
It's because he's gay.
No, he's a Scientologist, mate. It's worse.
Scientology God doesn't hate gays.
It's okay. Sure, the Mission Impossible movies suck, but Top
Top
Gun
Gun 2.
Maverick is going to be awesome.
Yeah, you'll make it up to us with Top Gun 2.
Yeah. Can't be any worse than Jack Reacher movies, that's sure, for sure. But, yeah, you know, BMW... I mean, there's room for Peugeot to return. Even though I think Peugeot might actually be owned by Renault.
Yeah, I don't think Peugeot will come back. They had a Le Mans car back in like 2009.
You know what brand should enter Formula One as an engine supplier?
Right.
And I'm pretty sure Nikita Mazepin's old man can have a foot in the door with this. You go.
You go. Thought you were going to say Lancia.
No, they're owned by Ferrari. No, they're owned by Alfa Romeo. Or
Alfa
Fiat.
Romeo can run Lancia engines. It doesn't matter.
Well, there's something. Because Fiat owns Dodge.
Yeah.
Why are they not getting Dodge to make engines? Because Ferrari's not actually owned by Fiat. So, Alfa Romeo could be running Dodge engines. Sure, they'd be a bit dodgy, but still.
I feel like, yeah, if you're going to tap into the American... Why isn't Haas running like fucking Chevrolet engines?
Or Ford.
Yeah, like, be an
I mean,
American
Ford
team.
does the eco stuff.
The
They've got
EcoBoost in the Ford in
Yeah.
the GT40.
Ford needs to get back into Formula One.
Well, that Cosworth engine was like the best engine for like fucking a decade or so.
Yeah, until the 80s and the 90s.
The DFE, yeah, and then the turbos fucking kicked its ass.
Yeah, and then 2000s where if you had a Cosa, it was like the entry level engine.
Yeah, it was a time bomb till it
Ask
exploded.
Mark Webber.
Oh yeah,
His time in Williams Cosworth.
I remember like, even though I wasn't watching Formula One back in the early 2000s because I was like 11 or 12. But every news report would be like Mark Webber's like smoking fucking Jaguar. And it's just like, Mark Webber's engine exploded again. And it's like, yeah, go Jaguar, you shit.
And then he was actually leading Monaco. And he was doing really well. He was setting fastest laps and everything in his Williams Cosa. And then all of a sudden it let go, and he gets out, and you actually see him slam the steering wheel into the cockpit and just walk away.
He had an affinity with that track, eh? Like, he won there, like, what, 2 or 3 times in the Red Bull?
I think it was once.
No, I think he won it a couple times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he really liked Monaco for some reason.
But
Only freaks like Monaco.
yeah, like Daniel Ricciardo.
Net and Senna.
Yeah, Australians.
Australians seem to really like tight fucking streets. That's probably because they fucking, you know,
Bathurst.
peak hour fucking traffic in Sydney.
Bathurst. It's a
Bathurst.
national culture.
Bathurst.
But, you know, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Ford back in it. Or
Yeah.
The more teams, the better. Just,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
more, like, exclusivity. Like, I'd love to see every team run their own engine.
Yeah.
Mercedes can run Mercedes engine. McLaren can run fucking whatever.
Mercedes engine.
Actually, I think there'll be 2 teams. There'll be McLaren and Mercedes will run Mercedes engines.
Mm.
Ferrari, no. Red Bull and AlphaTauri will run Honda or whatever engines.
Yep.
But I think the rest of the teams could do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah. But, no, well, this retro race was something really interesting to watch. And to be frank, we haven't discussed this, but I wouldn't mind doing another one. I wouldn't mind doing another
Apparently
retro
Brody
race.
wouldn't mind doing another one either.
yeah, I reckon we should do one tomorrow. What do you say?
All right, sold.
I've got to write a friggin' eulogy, mate.
Oh yeah, that's tough.
That's all right. I'm just going to do bullet points. I did it with my brother's funeral. I can do it with this one.
Rough,
Should be
dude.
right.
That's rough, dude.
No, it's okay. He would understand. Okay. He knew what I did with Richard's one, so he was happy with it. But so we're gonna end the episode here, purely because we've been going for over an hour with it. But
If we don't, we'll be here for another 2
Yeah.
hours. Easy.
still talking about engine supplies in 2026. It's like, what are we going to talk about at the mid-season special?
We haven't even got to testing a livery.
We haven't even got to the testing.
We haven't even got to
deliveries.
February, boys. It's the fucking 10th of January.
We're barely in the new year, and here we are just...
Brody's just like, we need to do one.
Well, so what are we doing for our next one? Our next retro race?
We're going to have to do another retro race.
Yeah.
Next retro race.
We'll give it a couple of weeks, see if any more new shit breaks.
Yeah.
We'll do another retro race.
Well, what do you think about doing 1998 Spa?
That's a car wreck.
That's good, eh?
Is it a good race, though? Like besides
Yes, it
the
is, because
start?
it's Spa, old Spa,
In
in
the
the
pouring
wet, with half the field gone.
Yeah.
And over 10 million pounds worth of damage.
We should do Indianapolis 2005, just for like...
Oh, God. There was only 6 cars in that one.
It's because they were all racing Bridgestone tyres. It's because Michelin made tyres that go pop.
We could do Brazil 2007.
You can do Brazil 2008.
No, we can't do 2008. No
We
one
could.
wants. That's a shit race.
No,
You could.
No, it's a shit race.
I don't know, we'll find one.
Do Australia 2014, where everyone's just like, oh, it's boring, and it all sounds like Dyson vacuum cleaners.
Was that the one where Fernando nearly fucking died?
No, that was 2015.
He was in the McLaren and he fucking went down like
Yeah,
10,
that was 2015.
turned 2 at like 300 k's an hour on his
20
fucking roof.
2014 was the first race of the hybrids.
Oh,
So he
yeah.
was still at Ferrari. He had the Aardvark.
And the fucking Caterhams had the dildo. No, the Williams had the dildo.
No, the Caterham did too.
No, the Caterham had a big like black dildo on
And
the
the
end of that
Lotus had the offset
car. Oh god,
double fin.
the most disgusting car design
It's,
you've
it's,
ever
funny,
fucking
it's
seen.
funny. Like you had an Aardvark, you had the one that the Lotus where it had the two
The
offset
left side
fin.
was longer than the right or some shit.
And then everything else looked like a sex aid.
yeah,
It's almost like they were all looking to fuck the Lotus.
it was the most disgusting fucking car designs I've
It
ever
was
seen in my
deeply
life.
pornographic.
Yeah, like the only car nose that looked half decent was actually the Mercedes.
or the Ferrari with its aardvark nose.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
The rest of the cars just all looked like something that Jenna Jameson would hook up with.
Yeah.
It was just,
We've been through some strange times in this sport.
and they all sounded like Dyson vacuum
yeah, it
cleaners.
sounded fucking terrible. It looked
you
fucking
could
terrible.
hear the tires squealing when they brake.
Yeah.
That's how quiet the engines were. It was,
That rule change initially, and I'm glad the turbo hybrid era ended on such a fucking awesome note. It was like the best season we've ever fucking seen.
well, the turbo hybrid era is not over.
It is, in its current iteration, it is.
Well, no, we've still got the MGUH and MGUK. We've
Yeah.
still got the engines the way they are. That
I
doesn't
mean-
finish until 2025.
Yeah, but I mean, as it is. As it is.
The cars looking the way they are has
Yeah.
ended.
Yes.
Yep.
But the way it fucking started was atrocious and should fucking be burned.
Well, hey, why don't we do 2000 Spa?
With Hackenen's overtake.
That's a beautiful overtake.
Actually, yeah, because that's Hakkinen versus Schumacher for fucking 50-odd laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, we'll do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah?
Yep.
We're on. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Or until Brody gets the shit, so we'll see you tomorrow.
We'll do a different race every day.
Every day.
We're going to sit here and edit this
We'll
shit
do-
every day.
We'll do every race from 2000 all the way to current day. Until the season. How many days until... I think it's 79 days
Oof, got a few
until
podcasts to
until
get
the
through,
season
boys.
starts. That's 79 races.
Better go and buy a new memory card for this segment.
79 races. How many races in a year? 20?
Back in those days, I think there was 15 or 16.
We could get through like fucking 8 or 9 years, hey? We could get to like 2009.
Not all the races are uploaded on F1.com either. So,
Ah,
you know, I think in 2000 there's only 5 races on the website
We'll have to do all of them.
because they've got France from 2000. That's
is that
when,
when Michael Schumacher took the McLarens out?
yes,
Nice.
bloody marvelous.
Fucking bowling for soup.
Or
We should watch every race where the McLarens get fucked over.
There's a few.
right,
hey?
2015.
2015.
2015, 2016, 2017,
Fernando.
2018.
Box Fernando. Box, we're retiring the car. If I had a coin for every time I heard that in 2015, I'd have 22
Turn
coins.
down the engine, Fernando. I don't want to.
GP2
GP2 engine.
GP2 engine. Had some-
I've never raced with such little power.
so we're just going to watch like fucking, what,
We're
Australia?
going to watch you cry.
Australia,
That's what we're going to do. We're going to watch you cry all
Australia,
over again.
Australia 99.
And we're going to bottle your tears.
We'll watch.
We'll set up a camera just with you on it. So then everyone can watch you. Just slowly get your soul removed from your body. Like a Death Eater in Harry Potter.
Just every fucking McLaren fuck up race we can find. And then we get to end it with Sochi 2021. And I just like run out into the street, into the nearest moving car. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm done.
Does that include Brazil 2007?
No,
Yes,
I mean,
yes. Kimi Raikkonen for the win. Oh, we're horrible, aren't we?
atrocious.
Okay, well, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Don't hold us to that. If there's nothing on in a couple of weeks, then don't hold us to it. Oh, Johnny's pushed his microphone away now. That's the sign that he's given up. He's
Is that
bracing
enough?
for impact. Well, so, JB, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye, Internet Land. I'll possibly see you in 2 weeks, or maybe not.
Longhorn?
Goodbye, Internet Land. We will see you in 2 weeks.
On behalf of myself and the other two, thank you for tuning in this week, and we will see you when we see you next, probably in 2 weeks. Depends on the weather. But until then, thank you for tuning in, and goodbye.